Hey everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video review. Today we're looking at the KWC M1911. This is a non-blowback CO2 pellet pistol, and this is the tabletop review. This gun is available in the Canada and US Replica Airgun stores, so check us out at replicaairguns.ca and replicaairguns.us if you're interested in buying this product. I'll put links in the description of the video. Now we'll be doing a follow-up field test shooting video for this gun. Haven't shot anything like this yet, so going to be kind of interesting how it performs. Being that it's a double action only pellet shooter, we'll see how it performs with that rifled barrel shooting pellets. A little different than the standard BB pistols I usually review. All right, let's get into the specification. This is a non-blowback metal and plastic build gun. We'll go over the plastic and metal parts as I go through it. It uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges, shoots .177 caliber pellets, has a 12 round full-size dropout metal magazine that holds 6 pellets on its dual rotary magazines, and I'll show you that when I pop the magazine out during the walk around. The KWC M1911 weighs in at 2.2 pounds or 990 grams. It has a metal rifled barrel, as you'd expect for a pellet shooter, and is 8.6 inches in total length, so that's 220 millimeters. Again, this has a double action only trigger, so a lot different than your standard 1911 that has that single action only trigger. So it's going to be longer and heavier. And like most 1911A1s, it has a fixed front and back sight system. No white dots or anything, fairly basic sights on it. And this gun has a claimed FPS of 345. Not sure if that's with light grain pellets or heavy grain pellets. When I do my test, I usually use 7 grain lead pellets or somewhere in that neighborhood, so we'll see how it performs with that weight of pellet. And if you haven't noticed already, it's a replica of the classic 45 caliber 1911A1, that old standard military pistol. And as you can see on the box, this gun is made by KWC and it's made in Taiwan in their factory there. Comes in this nice box here. Let's take a quick look at the box. Okay, pretty basic, but it is a nice box. KWC does a good job of putting in basic information and just making the boxes look nice. I like stuff that comes in boxes instead of clamshells, so you can see there. It's even got the joules, 2.8 and 105 meters per second. Pellets, all right, weight there, length, okay. So I'm not going to show you inside the box because I have everything that comes in the box out of the box already. So you get an Allen key here, and you get this little cleaning tool. They say it's a cleaning tool, but I think the purpose of it, because usually you don't get cleaning tools with any air guns, but I think what you're going to do is if a pellet gets jammed in there, you can take your cleaning tool, if you can get it in there, and just push the pellet back into the magazine, because if it gets jammed between the magazine and the barrel, you're not going to be able to pull that magazine out. So this will help you to not extract, but push the pellet back into the magazine, into the rotary magazines, and then you can get the magazine out and then do whatever you need to do, put new pellets in there, because it's probably going to be deformed at that point. We also get a manual, just a basic manual here. You've got your basically your parts diagram, right? Some things of what not to do, shooting people, like read the manual, don't point the gun at someone's back and shoot them, things like that, right? Okay. And then there's some instructions on the other side on how to, before you shoot it, how to load it, right? All that kind of great stuff, safety, everything. All right, let's take a look at it. Let's walk around. Let's get this gun up nice and close here. You can see it. All right, so pretty nice. We will compare it to a couple other guns after this, but I want to show you it first. Okay, so this is a non-working slide catch release. I believe it's plastic. The slide is metal on it. The frame is plastic, but the slide is metal. The trigger, I believe, is plastic. I believe this pseudo hammer is plastic because it's just basically there for show. So when you shoot it, so I'm going to put this back in, so we are in the proper mode, put that off safe, or off safe, and then you can see here that it's got this metal hammer, right, that just pushes back that plastic flippity flop thing there. No big deal there, but you do have a working safety in the right location. You do have these, it really does look the part. I mean, this gun does look like a nice 1911, other than the trigger. So the trigger is a bit different. I'll show you what the trigger should look like in a second here. But you do have a nice dropout metal magazine, okay, and that's where you get this sort of rotary dual thing happening, right? So you can actually flip this around, load your pellets, 6 in each side, so it's 12 total. CO2 goes in there. You have an Allen key to tighten your CO2. It's all recessed. It's a nice metal magazine, has good weight, and because the frame is polymer, the magazine adds that sort of bottom weight to the gun, so it doesn't feel too top heavy. Okay, so I think, you know, overall nice looking gun. Okay, you got a slide cut out, right, for the ejection port at least, even though it's a fixed slide. It is metal, but it's just non-blowback and fixed, right? And the grips look really good. I think they look like you'd expect them to look on a 1911. Recessed barrel even, right? That's gonna make it look more the part. Always looks good when they look like the real deal. So from this side, with your finger over the trigger guard, you really think you have a 1911 for sure. Just that trigger is a little bit of a giveaway. Okay, so let's compare it to the Tanfoglio Witness, the basic KWC 1911, the first 1911 I think I ever reviewed, based from KWC, but distributed through Cybergun at the time. So the real difference here, other than the writing, is this single action only trigger. So the slide has to come back, pull the hammer back, and then you can pull that really short, nice and crisp trigger. You can't do it any other time other than when the blowback action happens, right? So that's the difference, but it looks very similar, as you can see. Other than that trigger, they look very, very similar. So in terms of looks, you're okay. Only difference here is you're going to be shooting with a double action only trigger. You're going to get more shots per CO2 for sure out of the non-blowback gun, and you're going to get higher FPS. So if more CO2 efficiency is what you're looking for, then go with this version. Plus it's also pellets. Keep that in mind. We've got BBs, pellets, rifled barrel, better CO2 efficiency, higher FPS, more power downrange for sure, and probably better accuracy. So we will test that out when I do my field test shooting video. I did want to show you another pellet 1911, probably one of the only ones that I can think of from way back. This is an Umarex German-made 1911, right? So this is the government, or the Colt Government 1911A1, and it's got a whole different system. So you have these rotary mags, and I believe they're, what are they, 10 or 12 shot, 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, not even, so 2, 4, 6, yeah, 8 shot magazines, and rotary mags. Pop them in there. The CO2 goes in the grip here. You've got this sort of lever system that tightens it. Does have a working safety, does have a working grip safety, mind you. This one doesn't, so the grip safety is working on this gun. Can't pull the trigger. Oh, maybe you can. I thought it was working. Okay, that's why. When the gun's not in safe. So pretty sure it's a working grip safety. I could be wrong. No, I was wrong, but it looks like it works. Okay, so it's got the toggling versus the toggling here, nothing here. So looks like it works, but it doesn't. So you just have the standard safety. Nice gun. This is German-made gun. It's, you know, it's in a different class. It's much more expensive. The quality is totally there. I'd have to say the trigger too. Double action as well, only trigger because no blowback, but definitely smoother than this one, okay? But you do get what you pay for. Not a terrible trigger, but you do have to make sure you fully let the gun reset, because if you don't, it won't really work for you. Okay, so those are the guns I wanted to show you in comparison. Now let's talk pros and cons. The KWC M1911 Non-Blowback pellet pistol has good weight and a solid feel to it. There's a lot of metal where you need it. So it does come in at a decent weight at 2.2 pounds. The all-metal full-size dropout magazine holds the CO2 and 12 pellets, as I showed you. And it's really an overall decent replica of an actual 1911A1. So if you're looking for something that's a replica, it looks the part. And if you're looking for a pellet 1911, there's not a lot of options out there, so it's nice to have this version, less expensive than the Umarex one for sure. Maybe not quite as high quality, but at least you've got a rifled barrel 1911 that shoots pellets. So if that's something you're looking for, this is definitely an option. Now that non-blowback operation will increase FPS and CO2 efficiency. And in my opinion, I think it's more realistic than the Umarex pellet 1911 with that dropout magazine. Just some functionality components that make it feel and look more like a true 1911. All right, some of the cons: no blowback, so the slide doesn't move either. It would be nice if the slide moved, even if it didn't have blowback operation, but that's okay, pretty cool. Now the hammer moves, but it doesn't cock the gun, so you can't do any single action shooting. That would have been nice if you could pull that hammer back and get a slightly lighter trigger pull for a more true single action trigger. And talking about the trigger, it is pretty heavy because it's double action only. Not super heavy, but a lot heavier than what you would expect from a 1911 trigger. Again, this gun is available in our Canada and US replica airgun stores over at replicaairguns.ca and replicaairguns.us. Links in the description if you're interested. You can also check out both our Canada and US stores for air guns, BB guns, pellet guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, and other accessories. We've got lots of stuff there for you to check out. Stay posted for the follow-up field test shooting review. I'm pretty interested to see how this gun shoots in terms of accuracy with that rifled barrel and pellets. So that'll be fun. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Username is Replica Airguns. Until next time, take care.